Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson here. Coming up this week in Buffalo Stampede, the Buffs men's and women's basketball teams have been on fire. J.R. Payne and the CU women knocking off previously unbeaten and number 8 Utah. We're going to talk with the head coach. The men coming off a sweep of the Oregon schools. We're going to talk with guard Julian Hammond and assistant coach Bill Greer. And we'll catch up with athletic director Rick George. All this week on the Buffalo Stampede.
Spin and score. Nice finish from Aaron. Jalen put it down and one. Unsuccessful. Jalen Johnson. Sherrod shakes, makes, rolls to the floor.
That is a great celebration to CU women handing number 8 Utah its first loss of the season as the Buffs rebound from an earlier loss in Salt Lake City to the Utes. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Buffalo Stampede. We're out here at Corelli's. Monday nights, we're out here from 7 until 8 o'clock for Buffs prime time. And now we're catching up with J.R. Payne, who's coming out that great win over the 8th ranked team in the country. That was a heck of a win. A great atmosphere. The crowd was outstanding. And
best crowd of the year.
Yeah.
Huge crowd. Just the entire environment was just raucous and loud and energetic, and I think we definitely also felt that way as we were playing.
You think of it as a bounce-back win. Buffs lost by 27 at Salt Lake City. You didn't have a chance to give them your best effort in that ball game, various reasons, but your team was locked in on Friday night.
Oh my gosh, we were so ready. I mean, we went back and watched. You always watch the film from before. I mean, as we were watching it, it was almost hard to take anything from it because we were such a disorganized group, it felt like on the film. So we had prepared for them all week long, very focused practices. We knew the game plan. We executed the game plan.
You go look at the box score of this one. The defense for Colorado was outstanding. Held, in fact, Utah under 40% shooting for the ball game.
Yeah.
Is that been growing and improving as season goes?
It has. Yeah, it has. We feel like we're a defensive team. We feel like we can stop. We can guard anybody. Utah is number 1 or number 2 in the country in so many offensive categories. So I think we took that personally, and took that as a real challenge and did what we needed to do.
And as a result of that, by the way, the Utes had 21 turnovers, only 11 assists. They're one of the top teams in the country. Yeah. I mean, that number right there really speaks to what your team did.
It does, yeah. And I think, our goal was to be disruptive. I always say Utah likes to play pretty. Like, everything flows very smoothly. Everything feels comfortable. Our entire goal was to be disruptive and make them uncomfortable, and we did that.
Well, the Buffaloes hand the Utes their first loss of the season. Colorado now 13-3 on the season. And after that ball game, JR and a couple of her players had a post-game press conference. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Celebrate responsibly.
Yeah, I think going into this game, we knew the game plan was to be tough and be gritty, and we function at our best when we're like that. So I think early on we just needed to all settle down, but once we settled down and just kind of started to execute better, I think it worked out in our favor.
I think we were just good at really staying together, especially on our huddles on the court. It was just one possession at a time, got to get a stop, just keep focusing on what was ahead of us. And I think we got a really good group with good chemistry to be able to go through those moments right now. We know we can beat Utah, and it was just really good to execute our game plan so well and just feel like we really made them so uncomfortable the whole game. We love that.
The coaching staff was really on me about pushing the ball in transition. I think this year, before this game, I was kind of hesitant when we were in transition, so they were just always telling me to be aggressive, because when I push downhill, I create a lot of things, either for myself or for my teammates. So going into the game, knowing that was the plan, that's something that I just kept in the back of my mind.
Well, it was JR and her players after that 77-67 win over the Utes at the event center. Again, the Buffs now 13-3. Now they get ready for the Arizona schools coming to town. There's something you can build off of, you think, a win like that?
Yeah, and I think we will. We're very good at keeping our team grounded, so we get very excited, we enjoy, we celebrate, but we very quickly get back to work, as far as the next opponent. And so Arizona presents a huge challenge, so it's a great opportunity to keep growing.
In that Utah game, there was kind of an interesting matchup. Aaronite Vonleh is a fantastic transfer you brought in.
Yeah.
Very physically gifted player.
Yeah.
Peely for Utah, you said that was really an interesting matchup.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I think 2 of the more athletically gifted players in the conference and two of the bigger players in the conference. So to see them the battle in the paint was tremendous. You know, I didn't want any part of it. I would have gotten tossed around like a rag doll, but to see those two go at it was very proud of Aaron.
Jalen Sherrod, anybody watching this show and you follow women's basketball, you know how good she's been during her career. You've talked about the fact she's playing fewer minutes, put together a great stat line against Utah.
Yeah.
That takes growth to, number one, you're not playing as many minutes, but still being productive. She's an efficient player now.
Oh my gosh, yeah. She's just grown her game in a lot of ways. She wants to be great. She wants to be coached. She wants to hear what she's doing well, what she's not doing well. And so I think that type of maturity, you know, at the point guard position is helping her become the player she's capable of being.
Yeah. Is she become a vocal leader for you as well?
More and more so, yes. You know, for years we've said, you need to talk more. You need to be, you know, and she's finally embracing that and doing a great job.
Well, again, the Buffaloes have got the Arizona schools coming to town. So Friday night, you've got Arizona at the CU event center. Give us a bit of a scouting report.
Yeah, I mean, they're good. You know, I have two of the best defensive teams in the league, I think, with us in Arizona. They guard, they trap, they rotate. They're very athletic. They also try to be very disruptive. So I think both teams, it'll be a defensive battle.
All right, looking forward to that one. Congratulations on a big win over Utah.
Thank you.
All right, that's, by the way, the second top 10 win the coach has got here in the last couple of seasons as the Buffaloes knock off Utah. Now get ready for the Arizona schools. Coming up next in the Stampede, we're talking men's basketball. They come off a sweep of the Oregon schools at the event center. We're going to talk with point guard Julian Hammond. Clears himself with a dribble, plays it high on the left side to Silva. Touch pass to the corner, Hammond for three. Size advantage. Spins to the baseline. Nice defense at time, and a lumbering comes up. Next, dead ball of a timeout to Silva. Ball fake. Drive down the paint, and he hammers it with the right hand. Oh, the ball fake. And he's got a sneer on his face. Well, the Colorado Buffaloes, there's some highlights right there. Get a nice win, dominating win over the Oregon Ducks here at the event center. Hi, everybody. Voice of the bus, Mark Johnson. Julian Hammond, sophomore for the Buffaloes, joining us here for a couple of minutes. Let's talk about that Oregon game. I mean, that was pretty impressive. You guys are coming off a Cal game the Saturday before on New Year's Eve. Did not play well. I know you paid for it in practice for a couple of days and came out like your hair was on fire in that ball game, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was a bad loss. It was a game that we thought we should have won, and I mean, we can't do anything about it now except for come out in these next games and just prove that we're better than what that game showed.
But Julian, how does that happen? How do you guys play? And I don't know how you want to categorize it. Was it lack of intensity, energy, whatever it was against Cal, and then come out and play the way you did against Oregon, which was high energy, a high 1-1? How does that happen in the span of about 4 or 5 days?
It was practice, definitely practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We practiced real hard. We had good practices. You know, we focused a lot on defense and getting through screens because that was one of our issues. And I feel like these next 2 games that we played after Cal, we had a lot better intensity on defense, and it was just overall better.
So is there a learning process there, learning a lesson, if you will, about, you know, when I think of games this season, when you guys have played with high energy, right? Tennessee, Texas A&M, CSU, Oregon State, when you play that way, is there a learning process for this team about the consistency of having that kind of effort?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because we feel like we can play with anybody, we can beat anybody. It just depends on how we're going to play, and we know that if we come out always with the intensity and we play defense, that we can play with anybody in the country.
And you do kind of see it. I know a lot of times coaches have their things they lean on. Tad leans on defensive rebounding, and he'll tell you guys over and over again, when we play defense this way, guys, it doesn't matter what you do on the offensive end. That's hard to kind of understand as a player because, you know, we think as players all the time, we got to score, right?
Yeah.
But it's impressive when you play that way defensively, the offense is kind of secondary.
Yeah, definitely. When you guard, you know, you get out in transition, and then also it allows for more like mistakes, I guess, because we're not going to be perfect on offense, but if we are like consistently getting stops and we're holding teams into the 40s and 50s, then, you know, if we're not shooting as good like this night, we can still beat these good teams.
Yeah, the Buffaloes are going to dominating win over the Oregon Ducks, and afterward we heard from head coach Tad Boyle. Powered by Ford, cars, trucks, and SUVs built for America, built Ford proud.
Jekyll and Hyde, this team. And I've never seen the movie, I've never read the book. I know one's good, one's bad, like it's total polar opposites, and that's what this team is right now. We're Jekyll and Hyde. And I don't know if we were Jekyll on Saturday against Cal and Hyde tonight, or Hyde and Jekyll, but this is how we have to play defensively, night in and night out. Not that we're going to hold everybody to what we held Oregon to. It wasn't their best night. There's no doubt about that, but I think we had something to do with it. And I could tell from the get-go we were locked in defensively. Told the team at shoot-around, the team that rebounds the ball better tonight is, I think, going to be the team that wins. And that was us. And I think the score showed that. So really, really proud of their effort on the boards because Oregon's a good rebounding team. They came in here averaging 12 offensive rebounds a game. They had 2 at halftime. We got to build on this. And that's the key. And the time is now. November's done. December's done. You know, we got Oregon State coming in here on Saturday. We got to build from the Oregon game as we go into Oregon State.
There's the head coach, Tad Boyles. The Buffaloes get the dominating win over the Oregon Ducks. That was the night before his birthday, by the way. Did you guys know his birthday was coming up on Friday?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So you gave him the birthday present ahead of his birthday and after his birthday.
Yeah, has to.
Yeah, that's all he wanted was that. You know, the Buffs did not have KJ Simpson. He'd been ill on Tuesday, didn't play on Thursday. This guy gets the start in his stead. You really kind of picked up your game to kind of fill in that void, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, it's a team. You know, we're all here. We all know that we're capable of doing whatever we need to do to win. And it just happened to be that KJ was out, so I had to step up, play a lot more minutes. So
there's something to that, though, is there? When one of your starters is down like that, it seemed like everybody kind of just picked up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, because, you know, we're missing someone who does offense, defense, like he provides everywhere. So we know that we all got to pitch in, and there's no one guy that can carry our team to anything. So it's always going to be a team effort. And I thought our defense really carried over to our offense, and it really helped a lot. You know,
a lot of people know he came from Cherry Creek High School. He's a Denver Boulder guy. You're from the area. People thought of you as a football player, I think, when you were at Cherry Creek, when you were at the Bruins, right?
Yeah.
You wanted to play basketball. How have you grown as a basketball player during your year and a half years?
I just feel like being able to play basketball like full time, like all year round, like I've only been doing that for a year and a half, 2 years now. So I feel like that's been able to help me I can learn more. I can spend more time on like weaker parts of my game because I'm not spending 5-6 months on the football field and because I can still work out, but it can't be the same because of my body and everything like that. So
he was a heck of a quarterback, by the way. Did football, playing that as high a level as you did, does that help you as a basketball player?
A little bit, definitely. I feel like some of the most valuable things though I got we're just being around a team that was like successful because we won 2 state championships. My sophomore year we were there and we lost, but so I feel like being around the winning culture, like you kind of that bleeds over to like any sport, any situation. I feel like so.
And there's a toughness factor when you watch him play. He's a tough guy on the court as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Julian Hammond here. The Buffaloes get that win over the Oregon Ducks. They also got the win over the Oregon State Beavers. We're going to talk next with assistant coach Bill Greer about the Buffs' 20-point win over OSU. For left, Hammond dribbling into the bucket, kick out the corner. Ruffin sets the feet, fires a 3. 2 hands of Hammond inside, Lovering the catch. That one as he went by. De Silva out top, driving against grass, spins in the paint, goes up with the right hand. Oh, there's smoking undergarments left on the court. Somebody go out there and scoop up Crass's underwear. That are some highlights. Colorado Buffaloes get the sweep over the Oregon schools, win by 20 over Oregon State back in the Stampede. Bill Greer, assistant coach, joining us. Buffs only give up 42 points. In fact, 41 against Oregon, 42 against Oregon State. He had the scout for the Beavers. He must have had a heck of a job in that scout.
Well, hey, I think it was our week of practice. You know, we challenged them, coach challenged them defensively, and we did a lot of breakdown, kind of back to some basics defensively, and their hard work this week, credit to our guys, paid off.
But Bill, it really is amazing when you watch teams that they play with energy, right?
Yeah, no question.
It's stunning what that does for a team.
Yeah, no question. I mean, and that's something that we talk to them all the time about, and I think that's how you become consistent. If you can do that every night out, with energy and effort, it solves a lot of ills you might have out there on the floor if you play really hard.
Pope and Taylor were kind of their 2 big guns, average about 25, 26 a game combined. Those guys had 7 points combined.
We did a great job. We challenged them on the 3 perimeters. They were their 3 leading scorers. I thought our perimeter guys did a great job taking away their strengths. But, our big guys did a great job helping in the ball screen coverage. So it was a great combined effort to take away their leading scores. We did the same thing against Oregon.
Yeah. It wasn't as if the Buffs on offense was pretty good in the first half, shot about 50%. Second half really wasn't as good and efficient offensively, I think, against the Beavers. But that shows you what playing great defense does, doesn't it? When you play
absolutely.
That way, the offense almost is kind of secondary.
Yeah, and that's something Coach always preaches to these guys is it doesn't matter what we do offensively. If we will guard and rebound, you win games.
Yeah.
And, proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Buffaloes win it by 20 as they get the sweep over the Oregon Stools, knocking off the Beavers. Here in the Saturday Night Event Center, afterward, we heard from head coach Tad Boyle.
Really good win. Impressive defensive effort again by our guys. I got to tip my hat to them. Really responded to the challenge that we gave them early this week, and we put back-to-back efforts together. We weren't at our best offensively tonight. I thought we were a little sloppy with the ball, especially that second half. Didn't shoot it particularly well, 41%, but when you can win going away, shooting 41% and turning it over 13 times, you're doing something really good on the other end. So proud of them. It's just one game. It's just one weekend. We took care of business. But now it's time to take this show on the road and go to LA and play two of the best teams and most talented teams in our league. See what the future holds, the immediate future. That's all I'm concerned about right now. And I'm going to give these guys tomorrow off. They deserve it. They've worked hard this week and got a little bit of momentum going right now. So we got to keep it.
There's the head coach, Tad Boyle, after the Buffaloes' 20-point win over the Beavers. We continue with Bill Greer. How about Tristan DeSilva the last couple of ball games? I mean, he's been playing at a high level. Didn't have the greatest trip out to the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But, boy, really the last, 6 of the last 8 games, he is playing at a high level.
He really has. He's really started to take on a role of not only leadership, but just being more aggressive and more of a scoring punch for us. I think coming off Christmas break, he was playing so well going into break, and he wasn't quite back to where he was before Christmas break. Yeah. And I think he's back there now, shape-wise, just a mentality. It's been impressive what he's done here last 2 games.
What really, I think, stands out for me sometimes that he watch him, he's 6'9", almost 6'10", but what he does defensively, got great feet, so he can stay in front of guards. You can switch him off on a big guy all the time. And then he seems to have great instincts on the defensive end.
Well, I think his greatest quality is his versatility at both ends of the floor. And defensively, you can put him on a point guard or you can put him on a 5-man. It doesn't matter. He can guard a lot of different guys, which makes him, so valuable to have him out on the floor for you defensively. Offensively, he can do a lot of different things. And I don't know if there's many players out there that can play out of a pivot the way he does.
No, you're right. Yeah, he's really a unique guy. He's one of those guys that everything looks effortless when he does it, right? I'm not sure he ever sweats when he's on the court, for goodness sake. All right, the way you guys are playing right now, you won 6 of your last 9 games, or 7 of your last 9 games, or 8 games, I should say. You're playing very well defensively. How do you guys take this to LA then on the road?
Well, we have to have another good week of practice. I really felt this last week we got better during the week, and so I think that's critical. We talked about holding each other accountable for how we play with energy and how we defend. We just have to have a good week of practice going into LA.
Well, the Buffaloes play Thursday at USC and then Saturday at UCLA. That's Bill Greer, assistant coach for the Buffaloes. They get the sweep over the Oregon Schools. Coming up next here in the Stampede, we're going to connect with the athletic director, Rick George.
We're coming to work. We're not coming to play. We're coming to kill, not to kick it. Baby, I got to believe that we're coming. You got to feel that energy inside of you that we're coming, don't you? You got to feel it that we're going to be there. You got to feel it when you get in that stadium. You better get in there early because time to kick off consumes. Baby, we're coming. Do you understand it? Do you feel that? Do you understand the intensity, the excitement, the adrenaline, the rush that I got right now that I can't wait till this thing kicks off because we are coming. Boulder, Colorado, you have no idea what you've blessed me with, the opportunity that you've given me, and I feel like I owe you. So every day I'm going to work for you. I'm going to strain for you. I'm going to develop for you. I'm going to commit for you. I'm going to do the things that others wouldn't do. Baby, we're coming.
Back in the Buffalo Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson here. It's a semester break right now, so we got most of fall taken care of. Now moving into the spring, we thought this was a perfect time to connect with the athletic director, Rick George, to kind of talk about all things Coach Prime and what went down the fall for the Colorado Buffaloes.
It's official at the University of Colorado Boulder. We're ready for prime time. What do you say?
Wow. Colorado, you showed up and you showed out. This is unbelievable. And this is my job and my occupation and my business and my dream to bring you back to where you know you should belong.
Well, I think Buff Nation is going to remember that date, December 4th. That's when Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, became the head coach here at the University of Colorado. Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the boss, Mark Johnson. Welcome to Ralphie's Rundown with Rick. This is Rick. Rick George, the athletic director here at the University.
In case you forgot who I was.
In case you forgot. Well, I've been seeing you. You've been awful busy as of late, right?
Right, yeah.
It has been a whirlwind month since that December. Well, probably before that for you, but for all of us, December 4th. I mean, the whole building has changed since then.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, he's brought an energy to our department that we haven't seen, into our fan base, our community, and our university, and to the state of Colorado. And it's been overwhelming at times in a positive way,
Yeah.
you know, right? Because there is a lot of interest in what we're doing, and merchandise sales are off the charts, and our social media engagements are up significantly. There's just a lot of positive things that are happening around that hire, and you know, and that's not even to say what's going on in recruiting.
Yeah, without question. We'll talk about that. You've got to help us understand a little bit, okay? You start on a coaching search, right? And people are thinking kind of normal coaching names we see, and I say that because Deion Sanders is a different creature. I mean, he's one of one, as I've said many times. How does he become identified to be a target for you?
You know, it's funny. I just looked back at my list that I wrote down, and he was the #1 guy on the list.
Really?
From day one. And, you know, we had a lot of help, and this wasn't certainly just me. I had a lot of help with a lot of colleagues that I have around the industry and the business, and some that are tied to Colorado that really were helpful in this process. But, you know, we said to our fans that we were going to go out and we were going to hire the best coach that we possibly could for Colorado. And we shot high, and that's where we wanted to be. And just like he's doing in recruiting, he's recruiting 4 and 5 stars, and that's where we should be at Colorado. And he's the perfect fit for us at the perfect time.
As we well know, he's such a dynamic human being, and so he brings something beyond the X's and O's to this job. Your first conversation, you sit down for the first time with Coach Prime.
Well, the first conversation we had was in my bedroom, because that's the only place that I can have Wi-Fi in my house that works. And so we had about an hour conversation.
Little Zoom conversation.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was really more of to gauge his interest, to really tell him about the opportunity.
Okay.
We told him the good things and the bad things, and you know, we had you know, we just felt comfortable with each other, and then we had one in-person meeting. And that was it.
Okay.
And the in-person meeting was at his house, and we spent about 3 hours, and I shared with him, you know, more things, and he shared with me his plan. And now he's executing that plan.
Give Buff Nation a sense of what's been altered here. I mean, in terms of where we're at with season tickets, that's open right now. Sponsorships, donations. I mean, it's been kind of crazy, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. I mean, if you look at our season tickets, we're already at a 45% renewal rate, where we would normally be at a 20%. By February 2nd, the deadline of that, we'll be at 95% that we haven't touched. We've already sold 750 season tickets, and we've got an 11,000 waiting list that we're vetting now. We strongly believe that somewhere in the summer we will be at capacity for season tickets, and then you know, we've just got this great schedule. And then if you look at the social media, you know, in just football alone, their followers have grown by 50,000 since he's been here. Our merchandise sales are up 600-700%. So there's just so many positive things that have come with this, and I didn't anticipate it to be this big. But when we went to the Post for luncheon, we came out and we walked to the car, there were people, Coach Prime, welcome to Boulder, welcome to Boulder, and people are really excited.
Oh, it's like walking around campus with Elvis, for goodness sakes, when you're with Coach Prime.
Yeah, a little bit like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's such an iconic figure. What he's done from a recruiting standpoint, you touched on that off the top. It really is amazing, because when you look at, you know, the speculations around the country about where these different classes are, Colorado's name is being mentioned at the top with everybody else.
Yeah, look, I mean, he's shooting, you know, for the stars just like we did, and you know, he's shooting for those 5 stars and 4 stars, and he's going to bring the right people in that want to be at Colorado, that are going to play here, and he's done an incredible job at this point, and there's still more to be done. So there's still more coming, and then, you know, January 17th, we'll have a number of transfers that'll be on our campus.
You know, you think about that schedule next season, and it is a huge schedule. We're going to open up with a team that's playing for the national championship in TCU down at Fort Worth. Can you imagine what the atmosphere is going to be like right back here on September 9th, when you've got Nebraska coming to town? Coach Prime has his first game at Folsom Field.
Yeah, look, I mean, that stadium needs to be filled with black and gold.
Yeah.
It will be packed. There'll be people hanging off the rafters, even though we don't have rafters, except in Balch Fieldhouse.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be dynamic. The atmosphere is going to be great. And just the energy around our community and around Boulder and Denver and that, it's going to be special.
Well, there's part one of our conversation with Athletic Director Rick George. We'll continue next week to hear more from the Athletic Director on the state of CU athletics right now. By the way, coming up this week, the men's basketball team on the road against the LA schools. A couple of big games. On Thursday night, they play USC. That's a 7 o'clock game. We'll hit the air at 6:30 with Buffs warm-up on the Colorado Basketball Network. As we put a wrap this week on the Buffalo Stampede, I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. We'll talk to you next time.